What's good? It's the In Between podcast where we talk all things Texans. Wildcard weekend is wrap. The Texans, closed it out playing the Steelers. Man, what a game. And what a game because it was the scoreboard was close, but it never felt close. It was 7-6, but it might have felt like 30-6 because Pittsburgh just couldn't move the ball. The Texans defense was violent. They were fast. The Pittsburgh couldn't do anything. The only time they scored, I think they scored a field goal on their opening drive, and they kicked another field goal off of a turnover inside the Texans, side of the ball. What's your thoughts of the game?
Oh man, yeah, I think this game right here screams defense wins championships. Like without a doubt, because you have multiple turnovers in, Texans territory, just like that Chargers game. And, out of all those turnovers, you come off with 3 points. And I believe it was 37 total yards off of those 3 turnovers that they got. So it's like you get the ball back and you're immediately punting. You get the ball back, you're immediately punting again. You get the ball, you get the ball and you kick a field goal. Like that's at least a minimum, should be a minimum of 9 points. Could be a maximum of 21 points. Who knows? It's one of those. The defense was just the defense, just violent, just.
I would say this is the fastest defense I've ever seen. Like I've ever seen. Going back, no disrespect to the 2013 Seahawks. This defense hits harder. This defense plays faster. And that defense was historically good. I dare say I think this defense is better. That's how crazy. Watching Aaron Rodgers, watching the Steelers offense was like watching it felt like they were the Texans defense was playing a high school team. There was nothing they could do. Here's a stat for you, and I don't know if you saw this. They were 0 for 6, 0 for 7. They didn't convert a single third down in the first half, which hasn't been done by Pittsburgh. I don't know if it's anybody, but that's a stat that goes back to 1989.
Yeah.
That no third down conversions in the first half. It was crazy. I saw stat lines going into near the end of the game. The Steelers were 1 for 9 in third downs. Their average yards to go 11.2.
Yeah, because I think they had 2 third downs that were inside like 7 yards. It was like you're 3rd and 14, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 10, 3rd and like every single third down.
Every single time. They would run the ball, loss of 2 yards, like automatic. They're like, oh, we got to do something because Aaron Rodgers can't stay upright. So they try to run the ball. Negative play. Run the ball again. Best case was no gain. Like, best case was no gain.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers was abused. That was abuse, what we witnessed. I know I texted to you, and I don't want to sit here and shout out and get players injured, but the slow-mo of watching him get hit, it was Will Anderson Jr., and you see his helmet just
yeah, it was
let go of the ball. And I was like, goodness. What's crazy, there's hitters on all 3 levels. You have Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, those are, the big boys up front. Sheldon Rankins, another one.
Yeah.
Aziz Al-Shair, huge hitter, middle linebacker. Lassiter, his first name.
Kamari Lassiter.
Jalen Petrie was coming into the backfield. I thought he was about to take the ball on the handoff. Just came in and I was like, this.
And he's being blocked by one guy, and he just takes his left arm and just wraps the dude.
I believe that was DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
And DK is no small dude. DK is a very strong wide receiver, very big, very physical. Jalen Petrie just shoves him off, gets a tackle for loss. It was super frustrating to watch. Because you just saw how much better the Texans were on both sides of the ball. The Texans were running the ball at will. The passing game was off. CJ Stroud He it just felt like the game was a little too fast for him. And
Yeah.
hey, it'd be like that some nights. But I'll say this, bro, lock in because the Steelers were by far the worst team in the AFC playoffs and possibly and easily one of the bottom two teams in the entire playoffs. So lock in now because there's no other bad teams like this in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But 7-6 felt like 20 to 6. I mean, it's just they weren't moving the ball. As long as you didn't turn the ball over in, the Texans territory, give them points, which they did once, but that was it. Uh, I think the big thing I was noticing early on, I think we were kind of blaming CJ Stroud for all the fumbles. As the game went on, I think it was clear that the center was struggling too.
Yeah, there was a little miscommunication between them because they even showed, they cut to a break and it showed, CJ on the sideline with the center and they're going over the snaps and they're just practicing. But even then, there was a time where CJ's getting ready for the play and he's looking to his left, looking to his right, to get ready to like set the guys. And when he looks over to his left, the center just hikes the ball and it just goes right past him.
Right.
There was a clear miscommunication between the two, but at the same time too, there were some plays where it's like, okay, CJ, you gotta understand that sometimes it's okay to just tuck the ball and go down.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to allude to that. You had I didn't see this. I saw at least one. So one where he fumbled the snap, picked it up, and then tried to make a play, and in doing so, held onto it. The ball got hit as like right before he released.
And it goes right, TJ Watt picks it up.
Right. And so that's situational. It's like you just, live to play another down. Um, there was no pressure. Like I get it, the scoreboard looked like there was pressure. There was no pressure.
Yeah.
Um, Here's what I need Nick Haley to do. In those instances, CJ's just having a hard time because you not only have the fumbles, but then he forces the pick, which it should have been at least 3 points, which would have sealed the game right then and there. But he steps up. He should have scrambled for it. I thought he should just take off and ran
Yeah,
for.
he should have took off and ran for it.
He tries the sidearm to throw, and it gets picked off. You can't have those. You can't have those against good teams. And so Nick Haley needs to you need to see that your quarterback is struggling. You need to see that just the offense, the center quarterback is struggling. Just run the ball. They were getting positive yards every single play. I think they were getting about five
And
yards a pop.
yeah, because they were running the ball. They were literally just running the ball straight, like just every play, right up the middle, right up the middle, 4 or 5 yards, 4 or 5 yards, 4 or 5 yards. And you're switching between Nick Chubb and Woody Marks, 4 or 5 yards,
Right.
4 or 5 yards, 4 or 5 yards, every single play. And then you get into the red zone. It's like, okay, we've been running the ball down their throat this entire time. Let's throw it. And I'm just like, for what?
Right. So it worked. There was a good play action in which they got it to Christian Kirk. He did that. It looked like it was like a fake play action jet sweep.
Yeah.
He sweep, they do a play action. You give him the ball in space, he runs for the touchdown. Cool. But the just understanding when your quarterback is just he's struggling, and then you get to a point when you have so many turnovers, you get inside your own head. You just gotta just calm down, move the ball, do some very simple things. Don't make it complex. Um, those are things moving forward that I definitely want to see Nick Haley address. Because like I said, the next you got the Patriots next week. We'll just stick with the Patriots. We're not going to look ahead because it's very easy to do that. Very disciplined team. Mike Vrabel, good defensive coach. They made Justin Herbert, look like he was a bottom half quarterback. He did not look good in that game.
Yeah,
Uh,
because they only put up
hey,
3 points.
yeah, which is bad. So that's another conversation about Justin Herbert that I think we'll have later half of the show. But I so impressed with this defense. I it got to the point, I think I texted you this. All they had to do was kick a field goal. It was 7-6, and I was like, they were about to score that touchdown. I was like, that's game over. And then they threw the pick. The Steelers got the ball back, and they just kept going 3 and out. They
Yeah.
couldn't positive yardage. It was like they kept punting it on 4th and 12, 4th and 15s, 4th and 17s between loss of yards on the run game and sacks. Um, and then it was just like, oh, you just kick a field goal and make it so that the Steelers have to score a touchdown. It's over.
Yeah.
It,
And another
which
thing Pittsburgh kept doing was they were trying to rely on the big play. Because you know Aaron Rodgers, he's gonna sling it. Like he's gonna toss it out there. And there was numerous times where they're just all they're doing is airing it out, airing it out, airing it out. But it's like you really can't air it out against this defense because this defense will go find the ball. As you saw, Kalen
mm,
Bullock gets a pick six. Like these guys are going to find the ball.
mm. There was nothing Pittsburgh could do. You want to talk? That's probably the most helpless I've ever seen a team. I thought the Seahawks Niners game in Week 18 was bad. Like there was nothing the Niners could do in that game. But then they got a few plays, and this was worse. This was worse times 10. Like there was nothing Pittsburgh could do that could work. They finally converted a couple third. I think they converted one and two third downs in the second half, late in the game, but it was on soft coverage, like almost pre, which they weren't playing man. The safeties were playing deep, the corners were playing off, and so they got a couple, 15-yard gain here, stuff like that. Um, it was the other thing too. So the Texans were going on fairly long drives, and
Yeah,
so half, and Pittsburgh was just three and out, three and out. You saw the defense just collapse, like just collapse because of the rushing touchdown by Woody Marks. He should have been tackled after a 2-yard gain. Just whoop, guy hits his own player. He runs in basically untouched after the line of scrimmage, and then it was over, and it just got ugly. It got so ugly. He throws the fumble. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers fumbles. Did somebody pick it up and hand it? Was it Sheldon Rankin?
they were kind of fumbling around with it, and then it was just right there on the ground, and then Rankins just picks it up and then just takes off running. And I was just like, man, that was
Yeah, it was already over, and so you're like, well, maybe they'll just get some garbage points and make it look close, and then
yeah.
that happened. The pick six happens, and you're just like, oh gosh. I think the pick six happened, and there was still like 3 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, it was like 2.5. It's like because it's coming down. They're trying to. It's still. I don't want to say close, but it's like you could get a score, kick an onside, get a score. One of those very rare situations. But then he throws that pick six because the worst part about it is you go fumble six, they get the ball back. Now they're trying to make something happen. You go pick six, then they get the ball back again, and then it's just like,
Well, he got benched. I mean, they pulled Rodgers after that.
yeah,
It was it was over after the Texans scored the rushing touchdown
oh yeah,
because there was nothing Pittsburgh could do. There was nothing they could do. I was like, it's over. It was over after the field goal. Um, very much like the Seahawks Niners Week 16 game. It it was 7-6, but there was no point when I felt like this game was in jeopardy.
yeah.
Especially, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't. I felt the same way too, but at the same time, I was just like, man, like I just need them to get a score, just to kind of like just for my mental health. It's like just get us a score so I can feel comfortable about this.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
The game absolutely could have ended, 6-7, like, and that would have just been that. Wouldn't have been ideal, but I'm like, it could have ended at that, and that just would have been the game.
My confidence level would have been very low going into this next game if it was a 7-6 kind of game. I think my score prediction was 23-10. I was like, it needs to be a 10 plus point victory.
Yeah.
The others were just super bad. I was talking to somebody else. The Was it the day of the game or the day before? It was the day before the game or the day of the game, probably about a couple hours before kickoff. And my confidence level before that, I was like, it's going to be a 20 plus point game. Like,
Yeah.
this is not good.
Yeah.
Um,
On Friday, I told him, I was like, give me Texans over 20.5.
you take away those turnovers, you cut those turnovers down. Let's say you take away the pick, and you take away a couple fumbles on some of those drives. This very well could have been a 50-3 kind of
Oh,
game,
yeah, absolutely.
a 50 burger, just like that. It could have been an absolute embarrassment. A few stats, we had that one stat about the third down, and I'm really not trying to come for Mike Tomlin, but I'm going to come from him a little bit. I 0 for 7, 0 for 7 in the playoffs, 7 straight playoff games. It's pretty miraculous that he's held his job this long.
Yeah.
Uh, Coaches get let go for a lot less than that. The other one was crazy, was 1 for 10 went down at halftime. Oh
Yeah,
gosh, like that's wild. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Mike Tomlin's a good coach. The problem with Pittsburgh is they've just never been able to address the quarterback. You've got, you've got TJ Watt. I think you've got Cam Hayward. You've got some pieces on both sides of the ball. The receiving core has been stagnant. You had, I think Juju Smith-Schuster was the guy for a while. That
yeah.
didn't work.
Him and AB.
Right. Then you had George Pickens for, a little bit. He moves on. Steelers have some soul searching to do. Gotta find you because if you're Aaron Rodgers, do you go back next year? I don't know if I come back. I'd just ride off into the sunset.
Yeah,
After last night, that's crazy.
I think he calls it a career. I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think so either. I think that man's made crazy amounts of money. He
Yeah,
has a Super Bowl. I think he's a Hall of Famer. He's got the resume for it. You got the Super Bowl. If he doesn't have the Super Bowl, ooh, it's a fringe Hall of Fame pick, but he's got a bowl. So I think he's an automatic Hall of Famer.
yeah, he's a lock.
Um after so 30-6, the final score, the level of dominance, you cut out the struggle. I don't expect CJ Stroud to have this kind of a game. You have this kind of a game once or twice in your career. This game was bad. It was a bad game for CJ. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it, but I think CJ is the kind of quarterback that can shake this off. I think he's still going to have a good career. You might see one more game like this in his entire career. That's how bad this game was, and it's just not super common. It's a like I said, once or twice kind of game.
And
Which you Oh, go ahead.
I think it's a one-off. I think he comes into the game with a lot of pressure. Okay, Houston has never won a road playoff game. And now we got the road playoff game in the first round. He's known, he's won 2 straight, playoff games. He's one of those guys where I feel like the pressure was just on him. He was kind of in his head too much, and it's just like I feel like he was trying to overperform instead of just doing what he needed to do.
Mm.
Because you see, like he's zipping a lot of balls over guys. He threw a couple hospital balls too. Like he's putting some guys in positions.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
Oh, that's the other thing. So yeah, talking about that. Prayers out to Nico Collins. Man, I hope that man gets better. If they're gonna make a run, they're gonna need that man. I don't see him playing next game. Having to be carted off the field after being concussed, that's not a good sign. So
yeah,
I'm up on the Twitterverse and see what his status is. Oh man, I want him to play because they just don't have they have proven guys, but Nico Collins is a clear number one, and you have to have your guys to make a run.
yeah. And
So, but go ahead.
even if you're not, because there's a lot of times where you're not really feeding Nico the ball because he's getting double teamed a lot. He has that high safety on top of him, but all that does is it opens up your options for other guys. But now you have to find a guy that's going to do what Nico does so that you can spread the ball around to other guys. Like it's definitely not going to be something easy, but it'll definitely, it'll test. It'll test what the receiving core is about.
Yeah. There was one play, it was right before the half. They could have scored probably a field goal. CJ Stroud misses Nico wide
Oh
open
yeah,
on that. I think he did a drag route, and he's wide open. There's nobody around him. He picks up at minimum 20 or 30 yards, easily puts him in field goal range. Worst case scenario, he picks up 30 yards. He might have scored on that one if he gets the right juke. Probably puts the ball at the 10-15 yard line, which is just a shoe-in field goal. Puts him up 10-6 at the half. That could have been the ball. Misses that, and it's like, oof. Had some great throws to Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is the kind of guy. He's a veteran leader. He's going to need to step up if Nico Collins is out. He's going to have to rally the guys. Jaden Higgins, talk about those hospital balls. He had that one, I believe it was a slant, threw it high. Jaden Higgins goes up, comes down and gets hit, and you just see his body gets up, and you're just like, oh gosh, you can't take too many of those. Jalen Noel, I think sometimes it's not always the worst case scenario to lose your true number one because offensive coordinators like to pepper them with targets. So maybe this is a chance to spread the ball around. Woody Marks is a beast.
Oh yeah.
Um, man, if between him, Nick Chubb is starting to produce. Nick Chubb is a great. Woody Marks is he's almost kind of both. He's shifty and makes a good cut and makes a missed tackle. He's also a bruiser at the same time. He's one of those rare two type. I call him a two type running back, bruising and makes the cut. I'm trying to think of the last player that I know did this. Is it Sean Marion? No. Who's on the cover of Madden back in '06? He was a Seahawk. Sean Marion? No.
Alexander.
Sean Alexander.
John
That's who
Alexander.
John Alexander had that. And the reason I know this because I played the heck out of Madden '06. He had the ability to be a bruiser, but he could also, juke you at the same time. Woody Marks reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah.
All right. New England it is. What's your confidence level?
Confidence level is high. I mean, to be fair, when you compare the stats between CJ Stroud and Drake May, this like what they did in the wild card, numbers were pretty similar. They're both, one touchdown, one interception, two fumbles. Completion rates were pretty identical. Like passer ratings were pretty identical. Like they were looking like the same quarterback. Now, granted, with this defense, I have a lot more confidence in CJ just being able to manage, the offense to get them into situations to be able to score. And I think that, the defense gets a couple takeaways, does what they need to do, scores when they need to score, and we come off with this game. I know right now I think New England's 3-point favorites, but I'm taking Houston over 9.5. I think we get it done in a good fashion. It won't be like the Steelers, it won't be a blowout, but we'll have a couple scores on them.
Yeah, I think they spot 3 points to the home team. So they're essentially it's a pick 'em game. I agree with that. This defense, there's no team there's no offense that scares me. Give me Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua and the Rams. I'll pick this defense. I'll pick this defense every single time. Part of that, I have a lot of confidence. There's no team in the AFC that I think that can slow down. The problem is the Texans are just they're getting in their own way. This offense is getting in its own way. That's the part that concerns me. And we never saw turnovers. Well, we did see turnovers of this magnitude in the regular season. You had those 2 turnovers in against the Chargers. We had 3 in this game. You've got to get the turnovers under control. Pittsburgh is not a good team. This defense completely dominated, and so once again, you had I think ACJ put it out. This is the only team where you can give up 3 turnovers, 2 of them being in territory, and only give up 3 points.
Yeah.
At a competent offense that will turn those from 3 points to 7 points, and not just one time, but both times. That's the part that concerns me. Is we've got to get these turnovers under control.
Yeah. But see, and at the same time too, I have full confidence because like I say, we turn the ball over, 3 times, but your defense gets 2 takeaways for 2 touchdowns.
Right. Absolutely. So the 14 points, that was huge.
Yeah.
I don't like to bank on defense scoring points. It's not, getting turnovers is one thing. Scoring points off of turnovers, the the fumble recovery for the pick. I mean, that just the ball bouncing the Texans' way, bro. That ball could get recovered by anybody. Even cover it, cool. You get the spot right there, but to be able to pick it up untouched with no one around you, a defensive lineman to take it back, 30 yards. How often is that going to happen?
It's not very rare, but at the same time, it kind of is. Because if you look, we've had a couple of those this season. You had a couple big man fumble sixes. You've had a decent amount of pick sixes. I think Bullock has had two pick sixes. I know Stingley's had one. I'm trying to think who else. But there's been, like I said, we've had more interceptions on the year than passing touchdowns allowed. So
Mm.
like I have a lot of I think that our defense is good. I'd say they're good for a defensive touchdown. I don't want to say every game, but yeah, I wouldn't bet against it. I think it's definitely it's something that is very likely to happen.
I'll say very likely. I'm not going to sit here and bank on it. I'll say they're good for at least two turnovers a game.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Turnovers a game. Um, this is going to be a good game because from here on out, each win adds more respect and more prestige to the Texans. There's no more boo-boo teams in the playoffs on both sides. All the teams are good. They have strengths. You beat anybody from here moving forward. That's just more that's more street cred. Um, man, the New England is such an interesting team. Excuse me. They haven't really played anybody.
They've only beat one team over 500, and this is
That
their
was the Bills, was it not?
yes.
That was the first time they played the Bills. Now they played them close both times, interdivision games. Um,
This
man,
is honestly, and obviously, us, me being a Texans fan, I'm gonna root for the Texans all day. But this is the Patriots test to see if they're respected as a team. Because I
right.
feel like a
I
lot of people have given, yeah, don't get me wrong, they go 11-2 or not 11-2. They had a good, I think
14 and 3.
3, yeah. Well, there was one point they were like 11-2. They had, 14-3 in the regular season. Yeah, you had a good run, but it's like, look at who you really played.
Yeah,
And I don't want to be that guy, but based off strength of schedules, the two teams with the easiest schedules per se were the Broncos and the Patriots. And of course, they're both, 14, 15 win teams, number one, number two seed. But I
mm,
mean, it's easy when you're playing certain teams, if you catch
sure.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, your schedule helps in that facet of what your record is. Yeah, I think this is a big game for both teams. Whoever, I don't think there will be. eh, I don't want to say there's not going to be any, oh, they just weren't for real. But yeah, there's storylines for both teams. Whoever wins this game and whoever loses this game, there's going to be there's I can't think of the word. There's importance. There's importance for both. The importance for the Texans winning this game is they finally made it out of the divisional round. So now you've made it to a championship game. That adds street cred to follow, like, other seasons. You tired of getting that 3:30 slot on a Saturday afternoon. Cool. You need to repeat this, but this is a step in the right direction. You finally got to an AFC title game. That's big for morale. It's big for the organization. It's big for the team. You've made I like to consider a deep playoff run that's meaningful. Um, for the Patriots, if they win, you just beat the best defense in the league by far. That holds weight. It's like, all right, cool. Yeah, they had a soft schedule. No, they're for real. Drake May's the real deal. They're for real. On the flip side, if the Patriots lose, the conversation will be like, well, it was a fraudulent season. They didn't play anybody. And they finally got exposed by a good defense.
Yep.
If Texans lose, um, they still can't make it out of the divisional round. Oh, they keep messing the divisional round. I think it would be. I don't know which one would be more devastating. Obviously, for Texans, it'd be more devastating because it's just you have the best defense that could have carried you to the Super Bowl. So that at what point in time, or who do you blame the most? And I think Nick Haley's going to catch a lot of flack because I don't see this defense being the reason that they lose. It
Yeah.
would be getting in its own way.
Because you could even sit there, right? And let's just say hypothetically, defense only allows one touchdown. But hypothetically, offense can't get it going. You lose the game 7-0. People will be like, "Oh, I thought this was the number one defense," but it's like you only gave up one time. It's one of
Right.
those things where people are gonna push whatever narrative that they decide to push.
Ooh, the 7-0 game is hard. That's just straight up offense. Your offense couldn't hold it down. Here's where I think the defense would catch flack. Let's say it's a close game. Let's say it's 10 all, or you're up 16-15, or you're up by less than a field goal or a touchdown, and the defense lets a long drive and they score a touchdown and they win the game. And let's say that it's both teams score under 20 points. Now, statistically, it's like your defense still held their average from all year long. They're still averaging, I think it's like 16 points, and it's going to be less now with the Steelers game, but 16 whatever points. But you gave up 17 points, but the offense only scores 10 or 15 points. But everyone always remembers the very last drive in which the defense gave up some sort of points
Yeah.
that was in the game. And I know this because it's happened. I've seen it happen before, and it's super unfortunate where the defense did play lights out. They let up at the very end, but the problem is that the offense just never produced enough. So that's a scenario where people will blame the defense, and it really wasn't the defense fault. Yeah, they let up a score at the end. Those things happen.
Yeah, because that's like so. Both two games that I can pinpoint exactly to that situation is the Buccaneers and the Broncos. You give up those final, those game-winning drives, so to say, but it's like, well, the Buccaneers only scored 20 and the Broncos only scored 18. So it's like, yeah, and even the Rams game too. I mean, but that was an offensive, they punched the ball out the last second, but it's like the Rams only scored 14 points. And it's like,
Right.
you look at these games, and every game we lost was a one-score loss. You
Yeah,
lose
except for well, technically even the Seattle game was what, 27-19?
27-20, I believe.
So one score. It was either a touchdown extra point or a touchdown 2-point conversion. I can't remember. But yeah,
But every game was within one score. It's like,
Mhm.
so that just shows you how dominant the defense is. The defense kept you in every single game.
Hmm.
But the offense was just like, and I think, like I say, the Broncos and the Buccaneers were the only two games where, the defense had to hold strong and they didn't. But at the same time, too, the Broncos game was different because you're playing, your quarterback goes down, you're kind of playing from behind. Davis Mills doesn't get the offense going, doesn't score at all. So that's kind of like, you're really banking on your defense, and they're just holding, trying to hold as much as they can. Obviously, at some point, they're going to let something go.
Mhm. Yeah, so the offense just has to be like, I don't want to say mediocre isn't a negative thing. They just have to be mid.
Yeah.
Be good. You go down and score 20 points. 20 points will win every single game. This defense isn't going to let up more than 20 points. You score 21 points. I don't care how you get there. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. You'd be 5 or 6 field goals for all I care. This defense will hold. This defense is that fast. There's no team that has so many weapons. They're uncoverable. And even if they did, the personnel's here to take care of business.
Yep. Because even looking at the stats when you at the game, I don't think Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie, or Kalen Bullock gave up a reception.
I'd have to go and look.
Yeah,
Um,
something
I
crazy.
th- I could everything that the Steelers were able to complete had to have been at the linebacker level because they couldn't get the ball downfield. I know Aaron Rodgers' final stats were like I last I checked, he was like 18 for 31, and he had just barely cracked 100 yards. He probably
Yeah.
finished, excuse me, with like 120 yards, if that. It was a crazy, crazy night. Um, but yeah, that's the only thing that concerns me. Um, it's just the offense getting away with itself. Uh, but I'm not stressed at all about this game. I have full confidence that the Texans will get it done. Unfortunately, the Texans won't have a home game at all. They're going to have to go. Oh no, I lied.
Unless Denver loses. If Denver
That's
loses, we'll
right.
host the
Yeah, yeah, we'll host the Bill. I was thinking they were the sixth seed for whatever reason. Well, we'll save more of our keys to victory, and as we get closer to the game, we'll do another show. But crazy stuff across the league. I mean, let's recap real quick. Let's recap some of the games. Every single game except for the Texans and the New Patriots game all came down to the wire.
oh
Super wild card weekend. You start off with um, the man. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do a couple things at once. The
yeah.
Rams,
Rams. Yeah, Rams, Panthers.
the Panthers almost pulled that one off. That would have been the biggest upset in the playoffs. Easily. I mean, it was already one of the biggest upsets of the year when the Panthers beat them in the regular season. And it's crazy because the Panthers, I think the Steelers were the worst team in the playoffs by far. I think the Panthers were super close. They were a step up, maybe, but they were the second worst team in the playoffs. And to go in and beat the Rams, man, you got to ask yourself, what does that make of the Rams? Did the Panthers just have their number, or are the Rams not as hot as they were halfway through the season?
I think the Rams slowed down because it, like I say, it was one of those, man, you really thought that they were about to lose. Obviously Matt Stafford goes down, drives, gets that touchdown. But then Bryce Young is kind of like, all right, let me show you. But then it gets to the point where I guess the Rams kind of figured it out because you see they start, sending the blitz, sending the blitz, sending the blitz, and Bryce Young is kind of like not necessarily panicking, but he doesn't have as much time. He's over there kind of, trying to make something happen. Granted, the fourth down throw has the guy. All he has to do is go to the ground, make the catch. But he's trying to run.
Oh yeah,
I'll
he
get
caught
cute.
it,
Yeah.
dropped it. So I think that was nerves. That was inexperience. It stinks because I was rooting for the. I love to see some upsets, especially against teams I don't like. Um, so to see the Panthers defense just kind of crumble. The block punt was wild. I was like, oh dang, bro, the block touchdown. Well, on offense I think they get the rushing touchdown. And there's too much time left where I was like, there's 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes or something like that. And I was like, we'll see. And of course the Rams just go right down the field and score. Um, but yeah, I think there's just inexperience and nerves. So good lesson for the Panthers. Hopefully they learn from that and move on. Second game,
Caleb Williams.
total collapse from the Packers. I haven't seen a choke job like that since the Atlanta Patriots Super Bowl. That was bad.
Yeah, that was awful. They got outscored in the fourth quarter, what, 25?
25-6.
Yeah.
And what was crazy is they scored, well, they were moving the ball um pretty easily at the very end, and then just it came down. It was really bad clock management at the end. Um Their defense completely folded in the second half. Their defense folded in the fourth quarter. I was like, God, what happened? Um, but the Packers went from dominating both sides of the ball on the offense and defensive line. We're just dominating in the first half. It was what, 21-3? Yeah, it was 21-3 at half. And you're like, oh, this is going to get out of hand. The Packers just dominate the Bears. It stinks. Um, and that continued. But there was points in that game where the Packers just didn't capitalize on turnovers. I was like, bro, you picked off Caleb Williams, couldn't move the ball, couldn't move the ball. Man, Jordan Love just isn't it for me. Uh, he is maybe a top 15 quarterback because the bottom half of the quarterbacks are trash or unproven. He's a top 15 at best quarterback for me. He doesn't have that clutch factor. Um, Caleb Williams is super unique. He's a boomer bust kind of quarterback, but he's more boom than bust. If you had to like ratio it, I'd probably say he's a 70-30 boom bust quarterback. The man's quick, can pick it up on his legs. Did you see that throw? Going sideways, about to get sacked, just across his body, throws it and layers it over the defense, a dime to, I can't remember if it was Roma Dunze or who it was.
Yeah.
Crazy throw, which was almost the game at that point. Crazy athlete.
It's unfortunate because I wrote the Bears off early in the
Oh,
season.
I did too. I
They're
did too.
won 5 games, and here they are competing. It looks like they have the potential to make something happen.
The game against the Rams gonna be super fascinating because that's the one thing about the Rams, and maybe that's their fall off. The Rams defense, super sus, super sus. Their front four, like probably most of them could be all pro conversations. I think they're that good. They're just as good. They're a couple tiers below the Texans, but they're still really good. I would take every person on that team. But their secondary and linebackers, super suspect. I think you're going to look at a 40-45 kind of game against the Rams and the Bears. It's a great game. Bills Jaguars. I know, bro. I know we were rooting so hard for the Bills, the biggest Bills I think of. Uh, this game went back. This was probably the most entertaining game of the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Um, because I there was no team that really had full momentum. Back and forth, back and forth. Both quarterbacks just looked rattled. I thought Josh Allen was about to be, injured and be out of the game. He took some hits.
Oh yeah, he's took a couple shots. He makes that throw where it hits his lineman's helmet, and he's coming to the line, and he's shaking his hand, but he found a way to get it done. And one thing that I say I like about Josh Allen, for that man's size, he can freaking move.
Yeah.
And he showed plenty of times where it's like third and one, fourth and one, fourth and three, and he's getting that ball, and you're not getting past him. He's getting no
Well,
ball.
the craziest play was that fourth down quarterback sneak.
Oh, where he goes like 13 yards.
Yeah, he goes like 10 yards. He a touchdown. Like you see him, like he gets the yardage, and you're like, okay, cool. They're about to stop for momentum. And then like they keep going.
He never stops. He's just going, and I'm like, yo, this is insane. But then he gets called back. They put him at the one, and then there was a conversation. I was talking because I was at I was at La Woodrow's, and I'm talking to some guys, and they're like, "Do you run the clock out?" And I'm like, "No, you just punch the ball in right here. You give Trevor Lawrence the ball, and then you watch him turn it over." Because I was like,
Oh yeah,
he can't handle
yeah.
and I kept telling people, Trevor Lawrence is not the guy that you want to put the ball in his hands and expect him to march down the field and score. You do that to Josh Allen, yeah, I'd expect Josh Allen to march that ball down the field and score. Trevor Lawrence, absolutely not.
Yeah. I think the shot that really worried me about Josh Allen was I think it was the next play after that crazy fourth down conversion. They sneak it again, and he gets the ball over. He takes a hit and twists his knee, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
the knee to go down, ACL or a sprain or something. So he glad to see him, upright. But yeah, he took a beating in that game. The stuff that he looked like he was hurt, and
But for his size, I mean, it's pretty normal. Like he's what 6'5", 240. Like he's I want to say he's Cam Newton with a little more sense.
he's Cam Newton with a more accurate arm.
Yeah, and no disrespect to Cam Newton. Like I love Cam Newton, but Cam Newton he kind of played the game very reckless when it came down to like getting the ball over the goal line. You see that man just get the ball and like absolutely jump and flip, and he's just. But Josh Allen is like, I'm just gonna push it far enough to get me the first down. Push it far enough to get me the touchdown. I'm not going any further than that.
Yeah. The thing that concerns me about Josh Allen, the level of abuse that he takes, I hope it doesn't shorten his career because he is just like Patrick Mahomes, a generational talent. You're not going to quarterbacks that size with that level of arm strength, two that level of touch and the mobility. That's that's a LeBron James level freak athlete.
Oh yeah.
So I just hope his coaching and whatever he does, they're like, all right, cool, let's tone it back. Let's make sure we prolong your career some more.
Well, like I say, I think what he does, how he does it, I think it's at a more conservative level because he could very much be out here like Lamar Jackson, just you know, saying, "All right, full send."
Yeah.
Him, I think Lamar, Cam, and RG3 are kind of that same tier of quarterback, and you see how their careers have kind of went just based off of. I understand you were a mobile guy in college, but this is the NFL.
So here's where I think Cam, this is where I don't know if I put Lamar and RG3 on the same level as Cam and Josh Allen. And the reason being is because Cam and Josh Allen were big. They
Yeah.
have big. I feel like you're a bigger body. You could take more abuse. RG3, unfortunately, tore the same. He lost his mobility and his passing okay. It wasn't, he wasn't the most accurate. Like it was okay. Cam Newton's passing was okay. Like he was big and he would run. He was used like he's like a Derrick Henry at quarterback. He was really good because he could run and get those touchdowns. His passing was it was okay. It wasn't elite. He had an elite level of like how far he could throw the ball, but I
Mhm.
didn't feel like it was great. His accuracy wasn't on point. Josh Allen has great accuracy and his arm is he throw any as far down the field, probably throw it all the way from end zone to end zone if he really wanted to. Him and Patrick Mahomes have the best arms in the NFL, and it's not close. I know Joe Burrow has a good arm too, but Mahomes and Allen's arm are just they're the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah. And honestly, I think CJ has the potential because he can get a good deep
He
ball.
has the best soft ball touch. Like
Yeah.
the way that he changes, like he could throw anyone on the field. I think he has the best touch. His the problem is his accuracy. I think he has it's inconsistent. I'm not saying it's not good. It's just inconsistent from what I've seen.
No, it definitely he gets a lot of overthrows. A lot of overthrows. Like I think
So
another
you reel that in, and I think CJ's probably got. I would put CJ more on the Burrow tier than I would the Allen Mahomes tier. Um. Oh, but yeah, like you said, you give Trevor Lawrence the ball, pick first play. I was like, well, that was anticlimactic. I was at least expecting trying to drive the field and maybe run out of time or throw it into the end zone.
I'm
For
like, get up to the 50 before you throw that pig. Nah, he just said, yeah, I don't feel like doing this.
I think this has been my argument. Trevor Lawrence is a first round talent. That man is fast. He has a strong arm. He just Oh man, he's inconsistent with the feel of the game. There's just times he doesn't see it and he's late, and he just makes bad decisions. Um, I don't. It's tough to be like, oh, that was all his fault. It was one of those freak plays where it got tipped in the air and someone got it. Other times it could have gone incomplete, but it stinks that it got picked the first play. But yeah, it's hard for me to take Trevor Lawrence serious on stuff like this.
Yeah.
pretty good game. But once again, he's got one playoff win and hasn't done anything since he's been in the league.
And that one playoff win was a freak win. I will be honest. They have that crazy comeback versus the Chargers. Like,
I feel like the Chargers melted. That was Brandon Staley's last year. Brandon
yeah,
Staley was rookie head coach, and they completely melted down. I mean, I'll tell you this: I'll put Trevor Lawrence above Justin Herbert at this point because Justin Herbert just doesn't impress me. Has a great regular season, also a number one first round number one overall pick talent, but doesn't show up in the playoffs.
yeah.
And um, what's going on, ACJ? We're just recapping the games around the league. We just got done recapping, the Jaguars game.
Mhm.
And I guess I'll pose this question to you. Um, who do you rank higher, Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence?
Because I'm a Jags hater, I'm gonna say Justin Herbert.
I don't know. I mean, I have to put Justin or Trevor Lawrence above Justin Herbert. I mean,
I mean,
because
regular
Justin,
season, sure, I guess, sure.
I'm counting both, like both,
Both. I mean, you both of
like
them are giving you a first round exit. So pick your style of losing.
sure. I give Trevor Lawrence a nod because at least Trevor Lawrence has beat Justin Herbert straight up in the playoffs. Now he only had,
He did.
but like Alex was saying, it was a freak win. It was more of Brandon Staley and the Chargers melting down than it was Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they'll have to score
Yeah.
points, but um,
I would
th-
say Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert plays a prettier game than Trevor Lawrence.
that's okay. I'll give you that. Um, I was like, my argument for Trevor Lawrence is I feel like he just does, there's a lot of the game he just doesn't see the game. He doesn't feel the game. He's got, he's super fast. I was impressed when he took out of the pocket. I was like, dang, Trevor Lawrence is fast.
He's
Yeah.
a lot like dang it, my mind just went blank.
Looking at that game, that wild card game, January of 23, the Chargers go into the half leading 27-7.
It was
Oh,
it?
he's like Jordan Love. He's very hot and cold. Like Trevor Lawrence, he can either kill you in the good way or kill you in the bad way.
Yeah. Um. Oh, what's the other game? Oh, Niners upset the Eagles. I don't think anybody saw that. And what was crazy about that game,
Nobody
you
saw
know,
it coming.
let's look at the Niners injuries. You have stars. Fred Warner, or excuse me, not Fred, George Kittle pops his Achilles halfway through the second quarter, and you're just like, bro, it's over. Brock Purdy throws two egregious picks. I was like, man, you can't throw those, and yet they overcome. Now, I will say the Eagles are. It's a crime to have that much talent on offense. I'm going to name you their offensive players: AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jay Hurts. And I've got a question for you in just a second. Their offensive coordinator got fired today.
Yeah, Kevin Patullo.
Which
Hey,
Saw that.
hey, I just want to say this though: when Brock Purdy's not getting it done, get a ball to Jawan Jennings. He gonna get a couple
hey,
touchdowns for you.
Juwan Jennings is a
Hey,
dog, bro.
QB1.
Oh yeah. And that's great. But going back to the Texans game, Brock Purdy was struggling. I think he second pick yet, but he wasn't playing awesome. He was,
Yeah.
he throw to Demarcus Robinson for the 61 yarder. I attribute that 61 to Demarcus. It was a good throw. Demarcus Robinson, got the extra yardage. And then you just see him go cold and he throws that pick. Those are the situational things in which you see an offensive coordinator, you see your quarterback struggling. He's not there mentally. You have to, the team's gotta score, or you need to take the pressure off him. Those are the things really do. I'm not saying it has to be a trick play, but you see your quarterback struggling, take the load off of him, let someone else, carry or make a play, and then let him come back. Because then I was super impressed by Purdy, even after throwing two picks, still came back and got the game-winning touchdown. And
Mhm.
that's the Eagles' defense. top 5, top 6, no slouch of a defense. Their defense way better than their offense. But to
Yeah.
have that many like not superstars, but good quality players, anybody in the NFL would kill for all three of those players. Saquon, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith. They would start anywhere in the league.
No,
Here,
It seems like they kind of remind
go
me
ahead.
of like those Yankees super teams where it's like you got a lot of people, but there's like very little cohesiveness. You know, like they don't feel as star studded as they are.
Yeah. It just dysfunctional. Nick Sirianni, that dude is
AJ Brown.
I mean,
always saying some foolishness every week, bro. Like it's not sustainable, especially in the locker room. You know how they be the locker room. I don't want to be that guy because I don't know nothing about the locker room. I've never been in an NFL locker room in my life, but like I can't imagine if someone was talking some trash like that we would have the most together team.
I will say
you need to play together to win.
Not even, outside of being in an NFL locker room, even playing high school sports, any level of sports, when you're in that locker room and you got guys talking down on other guys, there's definitely it's gonna build some animosity, and that it's
not just talking down other guys, you're talking down the coach.
Yeah.
And so
they need to get rid of him. That's really what they need to do.
Philly's got the
Bill Belichick, that man.
The Philadelphia was up 19-17, or was it 19-17? 16-10, 19-17. They were up, and because the Eagles weren't moving, it wasn't like the Niners were doing anything. Eagles fans started booing. Your team is up. You're not, you're struggling a little bit, but your team is winning, and could very easily win that game. And you have fans booing in the fourth quarter. I was like, that's wild. I think they're going to blow it up. I think the Eagles run is done.
We'll take Saquon.
Saquon, that man hasn't lost a step. That offensive coordinator just didn't know what he was doing. I think AJ Brown gets moved, get some draft capital for him. Devontae probably stays, and that's unfortunate. But here's my question. Did Brock Purdy prove that he is better than Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts won. He won when it mattered. He has won.
True.
Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls and he won 1 and arguably should have won 2. So I won't say he's better than Hurts.
And when you look at it, both of them boys played the Chiefs twice.
Sure.
And to be fair, they were both in positions to beat Mahomes both times. Granted, I think Jalen Hurts' victory, I think Jalen Hurts' Super Bowl loss was definitely a lot closer to being a win than Brock Purdy's was, but it's not to say Brock Purdy wasn't also very close.
That's questionable because that man was one throw away from being a Super Bowl champion, to be honest.
But he goes to OT, they go to distance and he does what he has to do. They get a score, but defense has to hold Mahomes and defense doesn't do it.
But David knows what I'm talking about. Whenever there was that third down that they didn't convert on the right side, Brock Purdy would have had like a walk-in touchdown if his O-line would have gave him an extra second to throw that ball. And instead they had to settle for a field goal. And I feel like he was a throw away from being a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to relive those memories, but to go back to that.
I didn't bring up the trauma.
It's all good, man. It's all good. There was 2 plays because I'll just say there's 2 plays in that Super Bowl that really irked 49ers fans. One was in the regular time. It was the third down right before they kicked the field goal to then have the Chiefs go down and kick a field goal to send it to overtime. I believe Trent McDuffie comes in on a corner blitz and not picked up, rushes the throw. He overthrows Juwan Jennings. People were pissed at that play because they wanted Kyle to just run the ball. They said, stop being cute. It was a 3rd and 4. Stop being cute. Put your best on best. Run the ball with Christian McCaffrey behind Shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. But run your best running play and make the Chiefs stop it. Don't try to get cute and out route in which they send a corner blitz and the whole thing gets blown up. Because I know the argument was like, well, Brock Purdy's not elite. And I was like, well, Brock Purdy's not the most elite quarterback. I don't think he's elite. I think he's good. He's on that above average good level. He's not elite by any means. But play calling matters. And that was the one instance where the play calling should have been better. The second play was the play you were just talking about in overtime, in which the right guard, Spencer Burford, either blocks the wrong person. He basically lets Chris Jones get a 30, rush the pass to Juwan, who overthrows him. So, like you said, it very well could have been a touchdown throw. The problem too is that Brandon Ayuk, I believe, was wide freaking open in the end zone in overtime. But because you have Chris Jones running at you, that's a big man. My clock would be sped up. I'd probably piss my pants. And he has to rush the throw. So, yes, I think the argument is fair that, yes, Jalen Hurts has a Super Bowl. Let's also put into context how that Super Bowl was won. Yes, he threw some plays to Devontae Adams, and they got some touchdowns. That defense never let Mahomes have a chance in that game. That defense had a pick 6, and they were shutting down the Chiefs all game.
Yeah, because the Chiefs didn't score till the third strings went in. And that's how you know it's bad. You let the third team close the game out. Like you got what's his name? What's the dude Kenny Pickett out there running plays like a Make-A-Wish kid.
But if the offense doesn't score, you still don't win.
Sure, but
they went out there and scored.
They did, absolutely, they did. But there was no pressure. There was pressure for the offense to score, but it wasn't like the Chiefs were over answering. They were playing loose because the defense just had the Chiefs on lockdown. That's a real.
But
thing.
A lot of times that's a recipe for a disaster because they lose that discipline because they're like, "Oh, we're up, bro. Whether we score or not doesn't really matter." And then that's when you see teams start.
There's a difference between
playing bad
and playing with no pressure. There was no pressure on the offense because the defense was locking down the Chiefs. So then you're not trying to force things. You're just like, cool, man, we're going to run this play, go up the middle. Oh, cool, I'm going to take what the defense gives me. You're not trying to force it because you have to score. Pressure's a real thing. Having to score versus being like, we can score, I think it's two different things in the game. Here's my argument. Look at who Jalen Hurts is throwing to and has. Look at who Brock Purdy's throwing to and has, especially in this game. George Kittle goes out, all pro tight end. Yes, you have CMC. He's one weapon, but you got Juwan Jennings.
You can't say it like that. Yeah, you got CMC, one of the best running backs in the football, but
he's one of the best running backs, but he's also just okay, I'll give you one. But I think CMC and Saquon, that's a wash. Would you say it's a wash, or would you give the nod to CMC?
I would give it to CMC because he can catch better than Saquon Barkley can catch.
Sure, but Saquon can run better. Saquon's a better running back right now. CMC's a better wide receiving back.
Yeah, but the difference between their running is like this, and the difference between their receiving is like this.
I was about to say that on that play that in the round to Juwan Jennings, and Juwan Jennings tosses it to CMC. Saquon does not make that catch. CMC, he put that in though. He went CMC.
That was a clutch catch.
Not,
bro. He was catching like a receiver, bro. Like that's crazy. You can't throw that to any.
But his brother's a receiver too. He's got receiver blood in him.
Exactly.
So I still think it's a push. I think Saquon is right now in their career is a better running back as CMC is a better receiver to each other. Trade off. But let's say you give the nod to CMC for argument's sake. Now you've got Juwan Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
Good. He's not a number one. He's probably a good number two.
Mm-hmm.
You have Kendrick Bourne.
But the biggest factor is that you have Kyle Shanahan. That man is an offensive genius. So he gonna squeeze the juice out of all these players you got.
Sure, but he's also. I mean, he's choked. Let's not act like
He,
he's just been hurt
but
on these things.
we're not at the Kyle Shanahan choke place yet.
That's fair. That's fair.
This is where
Early
he
in the playoffs.
flourishes. This is where he flourishes. When he's up in the Super Bowl, that's whenever he's at his worst.
But let's look at what defense Brock Purdy had to face and what defense Jalen Hurts had to face. Those are not equal by any means.
No, but you win the football game by scoring more points than your opponent. So
Sure.
the fact that you can score is more of a premium.
But the Niners, the Eagles had a top 5 defense. The Niners rank 20. I don't know if you could get them out of the 20s.
I don't. I hold up. I don't. Your comment where you saying scoring is at a premium. I think defense, and I mean, I think last night shows you that defense is kind of more valuable than all.
Wait, defense wins championships exist in football only, in my opinion, because in football you can score on defense. You can't score on defense in basketball. You can't score on defense in baseball. But in football, you can score on defense. So scoring is still the thing that makes you win the game. When you have more points than the opponent, that's when you win. Quite literally. So
Yeah.
Sure.
any way that you can score points is going to help you tremendously.
Sure. So Brock scored more points against a better defense.
Yeah.
Linebacking core, Eric Kendricks and Garrett Wallow, those are 5th, 6th, and 7th. Their top 4 linebackers were out.
Maybe I'm naive, but I'm not surprised 49ers won. I thought they would. The Eagles haven't been playing great all year.
Sure.
They don't
I
click.
agree with that. But my question too is, do you think who's more clutch, Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts? If you had to pick a quarterback to go drive the field,
Mhm.
and let's say you just didn't know your offensive weapons, you're just like, hey, blind pick. You have a quarterback between Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts. Who would you pick?
It's almost a toss-up, but I would personally pick Brock Purdy because I feel like he makes a lot less like bad decisions.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that statement, and I like Brock Purdy because he's thrown some pretty egregious picks.
But you
Here's
know
my-
what? I don't watch the NFC that much, but from what I see, like I feel like I've seen Brock Purdy come back more times than I've seen Jalen Hurts come back. Like especially in the year whenever they were down to the Lions, like bro went down and did it. Bro scored when everybody thought the game was over at halftime. Bro came back and scored and scored and scored. And then in the Super Bowl, bro was down on Mahomes and scored, and then took them down the field to score. Even though they didn't score a touchdown, they still scored. Like I've seen him score effortlessly, what it seems a lot of times. Jalen Hurts, I feel like he'll either be on or he'll disappear.
I think both. Here's what I had. I had them kind of in the same category before this season, up before before this season. I thought when things are well, when you have elite talent around you, and you have a good defense, I thought they were the same quarterback. I gave the nod to Jalen Hurts because he had the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Give the nod to Brock Purdy this year, particularly because he's not playing with the quote unquote Avengers. He doesn't have all the super. He has CMC. He had George Kittle, but George Kittle off and on. But no Brandon Ayuk. No, you're playing with number 2 wide receivers, and the level of escapability, and I use this word lightly, is Mahomes-esque. There was a play right before the game-winning touchdown. You saw Brock Purdy drop back. The right defensive end is coming around ready to beat the left tackle Trent Williams, and I was like, oh, gosh. At the last second, he steps up, steps into the pocket, makes the throw to CMC, touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears, some of the plays that he was making on his feet is the level of magic, that the frustrating thing when you watch Mahomes, when he somehow finds a way to escape the pocket to then make a throw. I see some of those. I'm not saying he's Mahomes by any means, but his level of clutch in luck is Mahomes-esque, and that's where I give the nod to Brock Purdy over Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, whenever the team is super good, he plays well. He has played super well in the big moments, but take away some of these weapons, which you're going to start to see. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's middle of the pack. I think he's good when the team around him is good. That's my argument.
I feel that, but also football is a team sport, and I feel like that cannot be overlooked.
Sure.
Most people are going to be worse with a bad team than with a good team. That's just the nature of a team sport.
But you look at the weapons haven't changed for Jalen Hurts. The weapons have drastically changed for Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I have to give. He was playing with a worst, like on paper, worst team than what Jalen Hurts was playing with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to factor in offensive coordinator, coaching, sure, we could go that, but you still have to execute the plays you're given. You still can throw too. I think A.J. Brown's an all-pro player.
Jalen Hurts has had 5 different offensive coordinators in the last 5 years. Brock Purdy has played with the same offensive coordinator and Kyle Shanahan since he's been in the league. So he has that consistency to get better on offense. Jalen Hurts is having to learn a new offense every year.
Okay.
So, that comfortability ain't there. Because literally the offensive coordinator that was there last year was not there this year. And then the offensive coordinator next year is going to be different from the one this year.
I think it's a push. I think it's a push because of players. The offensive coordinator's not there, but you're still playing with the same guys. You still have elite talent all over the field. Oh, Dallas Goedert. I forgot about Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert's a top five.
Yeah, you're playing with the same people, but everything is changing. Like the verbiage is changing, the plays are changing. Like you're all having to learn new stuff. So where you were on the same page, like last year, oh yeah, we had this one play that worked really well. Oh wait, that's not there no more. It's a new offensive coordinator.
You're not gonna have. They're not completely wiping stuff because I guarantee you this next offensive coordinator comes in and the tush push is still going to be existing.
That's okay. That's one play though.
I'm saying you're gonna keep more than just one play,
bro. It's a whole new dude.
Yeah, but you're still.
It's a whole new dude.
It don't matter.
A whole new dude or not having like elite offensive talent.
Obviously, we're seeing that if you don't have as much offensive talent, but you have the same consistency, then you can actually build on that. Okay, here's what we are. Here's our identity. Here's how we can mitigate what we have. Bet, let's do it. That's more gel, more synergy than just, oh, yeah, we have a lot of people, but we got a new coach every year. That's literally why in baseball, those super teams don't win. Because, yeah, they bring in all this talent. Yeah, bro, you got Giancarlo Stanton, bro. You got freaking Aaron Judge. You got all these people at their prime, and you can't beat the Astros, who had a bunch of draft picks that have been playing together for 5 years.
The super team not succeeding only applies to the Yankees. Let's be honest.
It didn't apply to the Dodgers either until the last 2 years because they had the highest since 2017. They had one of the most the highest salary cap. And they still couldn't win. They couldn't beat the Red Sox. They couldn't beat the Astros. They couldn't beat nobody.
But they weren't building super teams. They just had a team. They weren't building super teams. That was the difference. Like you look at the 2023 Texas Rangers built a super team, won a championship. Dodgers built a super team, won a championship. Like there's big difference between building super teams and just having lots of money.
The difference that's how you get the best players, how you pay the best players, man.
Yeah, but it's not about paying the best players.
All right. Well, this is the argument we're making, like players, or I guess you can say culture for lack of a better term. Like they're gonna win 9 times out of 10 if you have like a stronger culture and a stronger foundation. You see that story all the time, man. So the tale is old as time.
Yeah, we could keep going round and round about offensive coordinators versus players.
Yeah, 5 coordinators in 5 years is crazy. Who's going to succeed with that? That's my question. Who is going to succeed with that?
But they did win the Super Bowl.
They did.
They changed for that, and then one coordinator came in and they got the Super Bowl.
But I mean, I think that answers that makes sense on why they're inconsistent on offense.
I mean, that's an organizational problem. They got to figure because you went from a good coordinator to a bad coordinator to an even worse coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, because their two of their coordinators got hired as head coaches.
Yes.
It's the same problem that the Chiefs
What
had because
did
what'd
the
you say?
coordinator last year hired for the Eagles?
I have no clue.
Say that again.
The offensive coordinator last year for the Eagles, did he get
Kellen
hired?
Moore.
Oh, that was Kellen Moore. He's on the Saints. I forgot that was their
Yeah,
coordinator.
the Chiefs had the same problem. Like whenever they got rid of like Eric Bieniemy and stuff like that, like you see the production start to go down despite having the same talented team, so on and so forth.
Yeah, but they found a
Because
so the 2023 Super Bowl was probably one of the sides this year, and they still beat the Niners, who were a better team. And that's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Mahomes more clutch player than Purdy.
yeah, 100%. Mahomes is a better player, and Mahomes is a smart player too. So I feel like he has more flexibility than someone like Jalen to like impact the game on the field. Jalen seems like he might be more of a guy that like needs more structure. Mahomes, obviously, being a quarterback that's always running outside the pocket and stuff like that, like the play don't matter at that point. It's blown up, and bro is just better at that type of stuff than Jalen Hurts is. So it makes more sense as why he wins. And that's the same thing you're saying about Brock Purdy. It's like when he escapes, the plays become negligible at that point. You just know how to just make something happen at that point. And
So
Jalen Hurts may not have that. Like they got it.
I think this game proved that Brock Purdy was a better quarterback. I think he played with less. He played against a better defense and found a way to get it done. Jalen Hurts had a chance to go down and win the game. Now, I disagree with the timeout they took. I thought they should have kept that timeout because if they wouldn't have made that fourth down play, you at least could have used your timeouts and possibly gotten the ball back. I think your defense was good enough to shut down the Niners' run, get the ball back, and you see what happens. But they called the timeout on the fourth down play, and I was like, well, this is for the ball game, and
Mm-hmm.
didn't make the play. So I digress. Simple question about Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts. As it stands right now, we'll see what happens to Jalen Hurts as they start stripping away some of these. I think they're about to tear it down. I think AJ Brown's about to get shipped out. Saquon, did he sign a big deal last year or this year?
Don't know what the money looking like.
I know Hurts has an extension. I think Devontae has an extension.
Devontae Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, he was on a 2 year.
who, Devontae or Saquon?
Saquon.
He could very well get shipped off next year. Either that or they're going to have to pay him.
Come to Houston.
That'd be pretty dope. I'd be down for that.
I won't take AJ Brown, but we'll take Saquon. And we do need another solid
I take
receiver, bro.
I think AJ Brown needs a change of scenery.
As a culture person, I don't want AJ Brown though.
Yeah, but as a culture person, you also had Stephon Diggs, who was a locker room cancer, got to Houston, and D'Amico probably had him locked up in the stadium.
That's true. That's true, but like their type of offenses were different. Like AJ Brown, you see this man in the media wilding, like throwing his coaches under the fence. Saquon, it was more like, or not Saquon, sorry, Stephon, it was more like we heard he did this, and was this way.
I'd be willing to because of AJ Brown's.
If we can get him for dirt cheap, sure, bro, pull up.
Yeah, I think get him on the right deal. I'd try him out. I'd take AJ Brown. I think he needs to change his. I think Philly is a classless organization. It's a classless fan base.
I was hate watching them because I hate their fans. I was like, I don't want them to win nothing.
Go Birds.
Is there a little bit of hate there? Absolutely.
You said what?
Them boys be saying, "Go Birds, dickhead." They be wild.
But nah, bro. If we got Saquon and AJ Brown, that would be crazy.
That'd be wild.
If was
that's what one with Woody Marks backing him up with AJ Brown and Nico Collins and this defense. Oh, Super Bowl fan.
And Mike McDaniel as our new OC.
Who? You said Mike Dayball?
Mike McDaniel as our new OC.
So word on this. We'll get to that. That's another segment. Let's finish these games and we'll get into coaching staff. Last game, Patriots. It was really kind of a boring game, but Patriots
toilet bowl.
And I was like, we need to have this conversation. Justin Herbert's overrated.
Overrated.
Is Justin Herbert?
Okay, to be fair, Justin Herbert was leading some great drives, and his offensive line was letting him get killed.
They get that man a Joe Burrow treatment.
Bro, they let like that man. I have not seen such egregious offensive line play since Andrew Luck, and you know what he did. People were literally like, Justin Herbert's about to go become a doctor. They literally said that. They said that because of the way that man was getting killed. Because he wasn't getting no time, so he was taking the ball, he was running, he was getting first down, he was moving down the field, and then this man's making plays, and they kill him. He fumbles the ball, the Patriots pick it up and go score. Like at that point, I'm like, okay, Justin did what he needed to do, but boy, he got destroyed because those Patriots were calling some crazy blitz packages. The O-line was not picking up those stunts, and Justin Herbert was getting murdered within 1 second of snapping the ball. So under those circumstances, I don't see any quarterback flourishing. So I'll give him a pass for this one.
That's fair.
That's one.
The problem, though, is that he's now, what, 0 for 3?
He's over 3. Yeah, he is over 3. But, I mean, C.J. Stroud has the same amount of playoff wins as Lamar Jackson and more playoff wins than Dak Prescott. Does that make him a better quarterback than those people? No. It just means that in the playoffs, he's more lucky than they are because the playoffs do come down to luck on top of that. We know that very well.
The playoffs are that the playoffs are
very bold.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Do you think that the Chargers with a different quarterback as their team is right now would have won? You think with C.J. Stroud, the Chargers would have beat the Patriots?
I don't know.
No. Do you think with Trevor Lawrence, the Chargers would have beat the Patriots? No.
Probably not.
You got me.
You think okay. Maybe with Josh Allen, yeah. But with Bo Nix, no. With Drake May, no. No other quarterback in the AFC, but maybe Josh Allen. I don't even think Lamar Jackson would have beat the Patriots with that O-line, bro. So
all right, okay. Yeah, the O-line. The problem is that we've seen him go into the playoffs. Yeah, this one.
See, that's my thing. Did you see Justin Herbert make plays when it mattered? When he had time, did he make plays? Did he do that?
I feel like he's such a fringe. This is where he doesn't make the top 5. He's like 6, 7. Mm-hmm. But him, C. Stroud, probably Trevor Lawrence are all right there. Elite talents.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it in the moments in the moment.
Nah, I'll say that they're not consistent. They're not consistently great. But I think Herbert is more consistent than Trevor Lawrence and C.J. Stroud. To be honest, I think that Herbert has played more clean seasons. But in the playoffs, he's unlucky because also, didn't they pay 2 of those guards like crazy money and both of them got injured this year? So it's like,
is it Penei Sewell? No, not Penei Sewell.
Nah, Penei Sewell is
Rashad Slater.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's not good, you know. I forgot about Aaron Rodgers. He was the other quarterback in the AFC. You know, he would not have won with that team. So that's why I'm like, okay, look, yeah, he didn't Josh Allen Superman it up, but he wasn't going to. He don't need a more favorable matchup, especially the first wild card round. It's always like, how do I put it? It's almost negligible. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks that'll get a wild card round and go get killed in the divisional round. You want to know how I know that? Because I'm a Texans fan. So it's like, yeah, C.J. Stroud has 3 playoff wins. Whoop-de-doo. You know, what's he gonna do when it matters? You know?
C.J. Stroud was not responsible for this playoff win. I'll tell you that right now.
He wasn't. See, that's the thing about Stroud. Whenever they don't do well, they be like, Stroud, you have this crazy team. How come you couldn't get a win? But then whenever they win without him.
Hey, hold up. I do got something to say real quick because you said CJ was not responsible for the win. CJ got ahead. He got the Texans ahead, and they stayed ahead for the rest of the game.
Remember I said that, David. Remember I said that. I said that's how the Texans are never playing from behind, bro. They're never playing from. And the thing about the Texans, they're not flashy, but like I said, the Texans are fourth in offensive possessions. They in time of possession, they're fourth, which means they hold the ball fourth best in the NFL. You can't score if you ain't on the field. So we don't score points, but we have long sustaining drives that end in field goal in the red zone.
There's context to this game. Had it not been the Steelers, I think the Texans would have lost this game. And here's why. Because CJ Stroud fumbled the ball. He had 5 fumbles.
I don't agree.
He lost 2 of them. But at one point, it was 7-6. They gave up 3 points off of 3 turnovers. The Steelers scored 3 points. I think they scored 3 points off their opening drive. They then nothing. The Texans finally scored a touchdown, and that was the Christian Kirk Jets play action pass. Then fumbles the ball a couple more times. One of them resulted in another 3 points to the Steelers. And the Steelers got the ball a couple more times, did nothing with it because they were completely outclassed. The Steelers are just bad. They were the worst team. Now, I'm not saying any team would have done it. I'm saying if it would, any other team besides the Steelers and the Panthers capitalized to an extent. I don't think you get away with this against any other.
I don't agree. The Texans defense have been in this situation a lot of times. And we always do the same thing. And also, Brock Purdy had 2 turnovers. And they found a way to win without a defense as good. Drake May had 2 turnovers. They found a way to win without a defense as good.
Drake May had
Caleb Williams, or 3. Caleb Williams turned the ball over 2 times, and they found a way to win without a defense as good. So, I mean,
sure. I'm saying it was a close enough game. Offense was making so many mistakes that it was 7-6 up until the third. No, the fourth quarter. Quarter. The Steelers were so bad they couldn't do anything.
But if you give the Steelers 2 touchdowns, they still would have lost the game in terms of the final score.
Context in the game. I think on Alex's, I was like, you can't have another game like that against the future opponents. You can't have a game like that because somebody will get points out of it. Given that it was 7 that close
against the Patriots, you can. They ain't gonna score. Now against the Bills, no, but against the Patriots, they ain't gonna score. Drake May ain't gonna do nothing.
I don't give the opposing. I don't want to give the ball on the Texans side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they got away with one. There was even when they were 7-6, and I sent that text. I was like, they kick a field goal and the game is over. You make the Steelers have to get a touchdown. It's over because they weren't doing anything. I can't say that for anybody else in the league. Even the Panthers.
Wait, you're telling me you can't say that for Drake May? He scored 16 points. We've been hearing Drake made this, Drake made that, Drake made this, Drake made that. He scored 16 points on the Chargers. The Texans scored 14 points on the Chargers in the first quarter. In the first 2 plays, the first 10 minutes of the game. And you're telling me that offense right there would have done something against the Texans.
Playoffs are weird, man. People lock in. Those kinds of chances.
Oh yeah, I don't say I want it to happen, but I mean it's a fluke game. CJ Stroud has never played that bad.
Oh yeah, that's like I was telling Alex. That's once you might have 2 of those kinds of games in your career. Yeah,
and then luck plays a big factor into it because the other team landed on the ball. But we did that same thing to Rodgers, but what happened? The Steelers landed on the ball. That happened to, I forget which game. We saw that happen multiple times in the playoffs where the offense lands on the ball. And then they come up for 3rd and 14 and then throw a 17-yard pass in his first down. And everyone forgot about it. But with CJ, he gave up both of them. That's the problem. Or all 3 of them. Well, he gave up both of them and then threw a pick in the red zone.
And I don't expect. So, I just do that. I think it would have been chalked up to jitters, a little bit of nerves. Alex was on the broadcast. The Texans were 6. Never won a road playoff game. I think do it.
It
So
was because you that second year fucked him up, man. Like he's scared to get hit now, and also he just got concussed by Denver, so he's like, oh, I don't want to get hit. Like I understand. I know it's easy for me in the comfort of my house, eating my ice cream in the warm, talking about, oh man, you being scared, as as these 300-pound men running towards you. But he just needs to, when he watches that film, he's gonna realize, like, bro, I felt like I was scared. I felt like they were closing in on me more than they were, because you look and he was fine. You just step up, because that's one thing Joe Mixon told him. Hey, bro, just step up, run for that. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to get rid of it. And so I feel like, I hope, maybe it's cope, but I hope that he'll learn from that and be like, look, I'm good. Let me chill. Because he said, like, they asked him, are you going to run more since you got concussed? And he was like, yeah, I don't live in fear. But it looked like he was living in fear yesterday. I can't lie.
Hey, and maybe it was the injury. I think it was just playoff. And get it out against this kind of team when you can get away with stuff like that. I just don't think you can get turnovers that tight of a game. Because the defense was just that much better. The defense put 14 points. Yeah, it should have been realistically. That could have been a 50 burger real quick.
We'll do it next week. I'm telling you, bro, I feel less nervous about the Pats than I did for the Steelers, because there's at least experience there. There's Mike Tomlin, who knows how to game plan. He ain't the best. There's Aaron Rodgers. He ain't the best, but he's Aaron Rodgers. Bro, Drake May. You telling me that sophomore Drake May is about to do something that no other quarterback could do? No. Drake May is about to welcome to the NFL. They're about to pat him on the shoulder and be like, hey, bro, no worries. It happens to the best of us. He gonna have. I'm not worried.
Yeah, I'm not stressed about it. And like I was telling Alex earlier, the only thing that gives me a hint of nervousness is the Texans' offense stepping on their own feet, is turning the ball over, having silly. That's the only thing that makes me nervous, because it's not. This isn't like this is the first time it's happened. Times now. I'm not saying it will happen, but it is consistently happening.
It happens every game. The Texans play a hideous game. They make mistakes. They haven't played one beautiful game this whole season. So
they've played games they haven't turned the ball over, but the offense might stall out. But I'm not offense stalling out. I think you can, with this defense, the offense stalling is my concern. It's the turnovers in your own territory. That's the part. I think there is a higher probability of somebody eventually taking advantage of that. And the further you get, better teams you play, the better coach teams you play, they will take advantage of that, and you can't have that. We've seen the Texans get on top.
Maybe I'm arrogant. Bo Nix ain't gonna do nothing to us. Only one is Josh Allen. He's the only quarterback that I'm like, yeah, if you do that, because Josh Allen is good.
Well, we hope that Bo Nix wins next week, because if we face Josh Allen and we have these turnovers, that's gonna be tough sledding.
No, I'm fine with playing Josh Allen, because if we play Josh Allen, we're playing him at home. We're playing in NRG. Josh Allen. Yeah. And I'm not saying I don't believe in the stats like, oh, he never won an NRG. Josh Allen has not beat us in this modern era, and he's not going to. Josh Allen, and plus the Bills didn't play CJ Stroud. They played Davis Mills. So I feel like we're going to put up even more points, because everyone thinks it's sweet. They have to find out what CJ is at home. At home, CJ Stroud is great. And so I like our chances against them. I don't want to go to Denver and play in Mile High.
Yeah.
Even though Bo Nix sucks.
I like this team, man. This defense, I think you're looking at a top 5 defense all time. I think this is how all time top 5 defense. When all said and done, and you look back at this defense and you watch the film, it's the top 5 defense all time. I like this defense more than I like the 2013
Legion of Boom.
Yeah. All right, what
this
about
team legitimately?
I feel like we're very akin to like the 2015 Broncos, where it's like, yeah, Brock Osweiler and Peyton Manning last season, it was a horrible offensive ugliness, but they still won. And I feel like in that situation.
Houston's better on offense by far.
That's why I'm saying I'm not worried.
I'm not either. As long as they don't turn the ball over egregiously like they did tonight, I'm not worried. And I don't expect.
I think that's even more demoralizing. The fact that you can turn the ball over like 5 times and still beat a team by however many you beat them by.
They could have won 7-6. The Steelers all at all. They were 1 for 9, 1 for 9 in third down conversion. Their average yards to gain 0.2, which means they were constantly losing yards on a run.
Mm-hmm. Now, granted, did DK Metcalf and them drop a few passes? Yes, they did, but I feel like it's that fear. I don't want to. I don't want to. I saw what Petrie did to. What? Sorry, go for it.
Plays stuff, so it's not like the Texans were perfect either.
Yeah,
CJ was off, and get the jitters out. It's on to the Patriots, bro, and it's the Patriots are about 3-point favorite, but that's because they're the home team. It's I'm super,
bro.
This
like
offense is. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. After watching that Chargers game, I was like, "You're telling me that these guys are gonna beat the Texans?" They scored 16 on the Chargers, bro. They scored 16 on the Chargers, bro. You telling me that they gonna score anything on the Texans offense, bro? They might put
as long as the Texans don't shoot themselves. It's the Texans game. It's the Texans. Agree. There is not a team in the playoffs that I would take over the Texans. There's not.
I agree.
Texans are the clear favorites out of the AFC, and I don't care who's in the playoff or who's in the Super Bowl. Give me the Texans.
I don't want to play Seattle. I can't lie.
I want to play the best. I want the Texans to play the best because that's just the harder bracket. you think this defense is scared of Stan?
Nah, but I want an easy win.
Well, I know, right?
Well, you're gonna face, as it stands right now. I mean, of the 4 teams left in the NFC, who would you want to face?
The 49ers. 49ers.
Bears.
I'd face.
Kyle Shanahan has a great record in the Super Bowl. I would love to face that.
Granted, that's been against the Chiefs, but I could take the Niners because they're so depleted.
What Chiefs defense was better than this Texans? You know what? Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears.
Give me the Bears, bro. Give me the Bears. Without a doubt, give me the Bears.
Give me the Bears, bro. They about to knock the paint off of that man, Caleb Williams' fingerprints.
Hey, stop taking those hits, man. Hey, everything you got in you, man, you're going to be a hell of a player in this league.
Nah, bro, give me the Niners because if we lose to the Bears, bro,
they're going to be posting that tweet.
I don't even want to live in that world.
You lose to the Bears, bro, and that picture gets cemented in history, bro.
Realistically, I'm okay with the Rams. Losing to the Rams, I'm like, okay, bro, we did it. Nah, because I live in LA.
There's not a team that scares me, bro.
Give me Seattle. Give me Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl, bro. I'll take that.
Give me the Bears, bro. I don't care. Give me the Bears.
You would throw 4 picks against us. You would throw 4 picks.
Give me the Bears.
That's funny.
I want Seattle.
I know because Jackson Smith and Jake, but he a dog.
Who does the Seattle Seahawks play next week?
They play the Niners.
Dang. Sorry, Brock Purdy. Pray for him. Pray for him, boy. Pray for CMC.
Here's what I'll say about the Niners. The Niners shouldn't.
They shouldn't what?
They shouldn't be here.
Wait, the Niners just played the 40 or the Seahawks, right?
They played them in Week 18 and they got stomped. They lost 13-3.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
That's not stomped.
That's not stomped. Boy, the Niners put up 38 points on the Rams. Like, you talk about stomped.
Here's what I'm saying. The amount of injuries that team has had, they shouldn't have been 12-5, but they did win 12-5 games. On paper, they shouldn't have beat the Eagles with the little star talent they don't have. But they did.
I want to play the Niners in the Super Bowl because I feel like we would beat them. But it's
a very odd year.
I don't want to see your heart take that much torment though. Yeah.
It's very much giving 2010 Packers vibes. The year that the Packers won their last Super Bowl, they had 21 players on IR.
Goodness gracious!
I'm not saying and win.
Hey, and then the worst part about that 2010 Packers game too is, bro, you lose Charles Woodson to a broken collarbone halfway in between the game, and you're like, dang.
Like star talent was not there, and they found a way to win. So it's a super weird season, and weird things happen. By all means, the Niners should have lost. The Eagles were the better team. It wasn't.
This is our year for the Texans. If we don't win this year, I don't think we win it in a year.
If you can keep the defense together and you get some offensive players from the Eagles,
I think you have the chance to go back to back this year and next year only because Patrick Mahomes is still hurt.
Yeah, that's.
I feel that. I feel like if we improve the offense and offensive line and keep the defense, then we get back to back.
Yeah,
and CJ Stroud plays out of his mind too.
Yeah. Well, we'll say more of our predictions and keys to the game, man. We're at an hour and 40 minutes, man. So I'm gonna call it, gentlemen. It's been fun.
Yeah,